family. Listen, first time listener, or you've been here the whole damn time. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, giddy up, let's go, no notes.
That's my baby. That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored. They did it.
Slap.
What the hell was that?
Oh, yeah.
What the f*** are you talking about?
What's going on, people? This is Coach Marcus with Pro Fan Talk. What's happening with you? It is Thursday. It is the beginning of the NFL season, and I am here for it. I got the TV up here. I'll be rubbernecking, looking at NFL Network. We got it going on, and we are here, folks. No more dilly-dallying around, no more messing around. We are here. We are in the mix. I see you, Sean, number one out the limo as usual. I see you, Vince. I see you, Brian. NFL kicks off tonight. I see you, Brian. I'm right there with you. Chucks, my brother. Happy NFL kickoff to you, my friend. The wait is over, and I am all about that business, man. All about that business, man. I'm so happy. No more waiting around. No more waiting around. No more talk. We just ready to get to it. And I'm happy to have it. Happy to have you here with me. It's been a good day, man. I don't know if you guys checked out Vetted with Hollis and Irvin. They had Jaws and Brian Dawkins on, man. So they were killing it tonight, man. Not sure if everybody knows out there, man, but A2D Radio has got it on lock for Eagles alumni, man. We got Vetted with Irvin and Tank. Now Brian Dawk shows up every couple weeks. Then I'm coming on at 7 on Thursdays with Pro Fan Talk. Then we got G Cobb in the house, man. A2D is killing it, man. I keep trying to tell y'all, if y'all not on the mothership, you better get on board, bro, because we are ascending. But, man, I am ready to go. It's going to be a good game tonight. I was actually supposed to have Jason Dunn on with me tonight. And we had talked about this about a week and a half ago. And he was scheduled to be on the show. And he was like, oh, snap, you guys play on Thursday. So we were like, we're going to try to do something possibly for next week. I don't know what the schedule is going to look like, but we're going to try to get back. But me and him are definitely going to get back together. He'll probably be on for a couple times this week. There's a couple other guys I'm trying to get on. So now we're gonna get down to business, man. It's time for it. Just ready to go, man. Some breaking news real quick is that I don't know if you guys heard or not, but Travis Kelce got hurt yesterday, and it looks like he is not going to play today. I'm looking right here on NFL.com. Kelce will miss tonight's kickoff game against the Detroit Lions due to the knee injury he suffered early this week. NFL insider Ian Rappaport reported Thursday Kelce is listed among Kansas City's inactives. So that makes sense. There's no sense in getting him hurt or doing nothing serious. If it's not already serious, I don't know. I know he hyperextended it. Don't know what happened. It sounded like it was a non-contact issue, which makes it even worse. So I don't know how that works. But we'll see what's going to happen with it. But that does give the definite advantage. Excuse me. That does give a definite advantage to Detroit. Detroit's got a good defense. And basically, you're taking a number one receiver off the field, man. So they got to make up for that. But if anybody could make up for that, Patrick Mahomes can make up for that. Don't get it twisted. That dude does some crazy stuff. And I don't see why that should change now. So we'll see what they're going to do. I think Detroit's going to give them a good game. So we'll see what's going to happen. Kelsey's not playing. Chris Jones is not playing. So they got two of their marquee players not on the field right now. So Detroit's been building a lot of momentum in the offseason, and now it's time to put up or shut up. So should be a good game. But let's get to our birds, because this is about what we're about. And first off, we got captains now: Devontae Smith, Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown, Darius Slay, Jake Elliott, Lane Johnson, Fletcher Cox, Jason Kelsey, and Brandon Graham. No real surprises there. Although Devontae Smith is an addition. Not used to seeing two receivers as captains, but that makes sense to me. That makes sense. They both balled out, and that just goes to show the type of relationships that we have on this team. I don't think a lot of people think about that a lot. The dynamics on a team, it can be tricky at times because everybody doesn't like everybody on a team. You got personalities and egos and all that kind of stuff can clash. And let me tell you from experience, you do not have to like all of your teammates. You got to respect them and you got to play with them because you all got a job to do. And ultimately, whether you like somebody or not, the main goal is the main goal. You're trying to win games and trying to get to a championship. So as long as that is understood, it ain't like you got to go hang out together and all that kind of stuff. There's cliques on a team just like anywhere else in school and college and all that kind of stuff. So no different. But Vince, I don't think that's too many captains. Not really. You can have a whole bunch of captains. It's just going to look like a gang is going to look like the Warriors is walking out for the coin toss. And you know what? Who's to say all the captains are going to walk out to the middle of the field anyways? It might be a thing where, Kelsey and Jalen one day, Cox and Graham, or Cox, Kelsey and Brandon Graham will go out together or something like that. I would doubt that all the captains would go out together. That might be a little bit imposing. They might do it. I don't know. They might go hand in hand. Who knows what they're going to do? But I don't see anything wrong with it. There's not so much, there's not a thing as too many captains, because you got to remember the captains are voted on by the team. So it's very possible when they voted, it could have been a tie. They would, well, why don't we have both of them? So that sort of thing. So, and you never know what's going to happen if the worst thing you could have, the worst thing is to be a captain and you're hurt, you're injured. So that's something, knocking on wood, we hope that that's not going to happen, but things like that happen all the time. So I don't think it's too many, and we'll deal with it. Word was what you talking about the Celtics? 80s Boston Celtics didn't like each other, not. But yeah, you're absolutely right. And you see what's going on with the Jordan and Pippen and all of that kind of nonsense. Stuff that's been going on for years and they never dealt with. Man, you got stuff like that on every team in every situation. You got people on your job you don't like, people on your team, whether you in a high school team, college team, you on a intramural team, your company softball team. There's always going to be somebody that you don't necessarily like for whatever reason, but you just deal with it and keep it moving. The people that make too much out of that are usually the people that nobody gets along with. It's very easy to get along with people. You can give somebody a good letting alone. If you don't vibe with somebody, just don't vibe with them. No, I don't mean you got to be enemies, but things like that make too much sense. And there's a lot of people that always try to be controversial or difficult, so they get what they get. So, but in any case, we getting right to it, man. And we are finally here. We got the Patriots coming up. Let me show y'all this. I worked on this, so I got to show it off. Hold tight. Let me see if I can do this. Wait a minute. I'm going to get this right. So we are going to Foxborough. So been working on that animation. I liked it. Figured I had to do it. So I'm gonna try to do a lot of animations like that with the stadium. So I thought it was cool. But we're going up. facing the Patriots. There's already been a little bit of chatter about Jalen Hurts and how much Belichick likes him or something like that. I don't know. That kind of stuff is always it comes at the weirdest time, and it strikes me as somebody was looking for something to say. Belichick was looking for something to say, didn't want to start any, social media stuff. So that's what he said. And I heard Jalen Hurts' comments about it seems like everybody wanted to draft him and all of that kind of stuff. I found that funny, but that's Jerry Jones sticking his foot in his mouth. Sometimes you just shouldn't say nothing. And every time you stick a microphone in front of Jerry Jones, he going to say something. And a lot of times it's the wrong thing. And it just creates unnecessary distractions. And thank goodness we don't have that problem. So, the worst thing our coaches ever said was talking about plant flowers. So, I saw that, Vince. He was heaping a lot of praise because quiet as kept, Belichick is in the hot seat, man. He's got to have a good season. He drafted this quarterback. So he's in, I don't know if it's a make or break year, but I can imagine people looking at him with the arched eyebrow after a certain amount of time. It's like, because this will be his third year of getting sliced and diced during the season and not making a playoff. Second or third year, but yeah, you got to do something, man. And I don't know if Mac Jones is that dude, but we'll see what happens. We will definitely see what happens. But got a couple questions and some things we're going to talk about tonight. My first question is: can the Eagles repeat as NFC East champions? We haven't had a repeat champion since 2005, I believe. But Eagles going 14-3 last year and really putting it down. They stumbled at the end a little bit, but that was because Jalen Hurts got injured in Chicago. But we did lose some starters to free agency, but I think our draft has more than made up for that. I believe whatever we have lost with Javon Hargrave, we will get back with Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis, more so with Jalen Carter. And let's not forget Nolan Smith on the edge. So I think we'll be good in that regard. So I think we are in the driver's seat as long as we stay healthy. As long as we stay healthy, I don't see why we cannot repeat as NFC East champions and then take it to the next level and be NFC champions. But just like every year, it all comes down to staying healthy. Who knows what's going to happen with Kansas City not having Chris Jones and Kelsey. Obviously, Chris Jones is not an injury, but at the end of the day, when your best guy is not on the field, that's going to affect the team. So I know Patrick Mahomes can pick up the slack for Kelsey not being there. He's that good. He can do that. However, he can't pick up the slack for defense. He ain't making no tackles, and he ain't covering no wide receivers. So who's their number two where Chris Jones is? And that number two is not Chris Jones. It was my opinion last year. Chris Jones was the defensive player of the year, not Bosa. Chris Jones wreaked havoc from day one, from week one, all the way to the Super Bowl. Chris Jones was a problem. Chris Jones, you had to game plan. And I think Bosa, towards the end of the year, he kind of petered off a little bit. He was still good, but Chris Jones was better. It should have been Chris Jones and Hassan Reddick coming down to the wire. That's just my opinion. But when you take the best player on your defense off the field, whether it's injury or not, if he's not on the field, you got problems. Pete Evans, I see you, my brother. What's going on with you? Brian, were the Eagles the last team to repeat in 2005? I didn't realize that, but you might be right. But I think we are poised to do that. We're poised to repeat this year. I think we can definitely do it. We got the horses to do it. I think our defense has a lot of question marks because we have so many young players that are going to play quality snaps. We got a lot of young players that are going to get a lot of snaps on defense. And I think they're ready. Just the whole Georgia collective we got. Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Nolan Smith. I don't think Keely Ringo's going to get much burn. I'm praying he really doesn't until, because that means somebody got hurt. But Blankenship, Sidney Brown, I think will end up starting by mid-season, if not sooner. So we'll see what's going on. But I think our defense is ready. I still say our big question marks are the linebackers. Not that I doubt what Nakobe Dean is going to do, but I just wish we had a little bit more depth. And I just want to see him get out there and ball against top competition. That's what I want to see. Eagles need long drives and score a touchdown or field goal. Keep Aronson off the field. And yes, Eagles were last. Nice. 04 and 05. Okay. Yeah, Sipos. I don't have a problem with him because just punters are like, you're only going to talk about him if something bad happens. So let's just count last year as a aberration, right? Let's assume that he will be better this year than he was last year. Not hard to be. Special teams has to be better this year than last year. Not hard to be. Looking at what we went through last year, our special teams was god-awful last year. Almost cost us a couple games. It did cost us in the Super Bowl. You can't, the margin of error is so thin. The further you get in the season, the further you get in the playoffs, and definitely in the Super Bowl. That it gets a razor's edge, man. In every situation, any play that you can gain some type of advantage, you have to take advantage of it. And our special teams let us down. Vince, you're not wrong, bro. You're not wrong. Didn't show us much in the preseason. But I'm not going to go based off of preseason. This is the same thing I said about Marcus Mariota. If Marcus Mariota had a lit up preseason, you're still going to have people that say, yeah, but he's Marcus Mariota. His ceiling is only so high. So it wouldn't have mattered how good or how bad he was. At least it doesn't matter to me. So basically, if you're a bad player and you have a good preseason, people still think you're a bad player until you do it in the regular season. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter what he did or didn't do in preseason. All I want to see is what he's going to do in week 1. Same thing with Covey. Looks like Covey's going to be our punt returner again. So we back with Crash Test Covey. But Crash Test Covey was last year. So I got to give him the benefit of the doubt because I know what it is to come off of a bad season and you got to get that reputation back. You got to get that bad taste out your mouth. And you got to convince the people watching you, in this particular case, the fans, that you are the real deal and you can make some things happen. So Covey is far from a bust or a scrub. He's competent in what he's doing. And like I said before, he got better, towards the end of the year. But I want to see that for a full year. I want to see him be a problem at punt return. I think Zacchaeus will be doing kick returns if we ever get a lot of kick returns because the NFL is doing everything they can to phase that out of the game. You don't even see kick returns a lot no more. And I said it a couple of weeks ago. You're not going to see the likes of a Brian Mitchell or Eric Metcalf or Devin Hester, guys like that. Deion Sanders is all in the news. And I challenge anybody, if you're listening, go back on YouTube and watch Deion play as a returner. It was ridiculous. Go back and watch Devin Hester as a returner. Go back and watch Dante Hall as a returner. It was absolutely ridiculous. And it's a shame that the NFL has pretty much phased that aspect out of the game. Kick returners, fullbacks, and now running backs to a certain degree, they phasing them out the game. Took with the injuries. Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. The injuries to Bradley, because I think Bradley was a special teams captain. So that is very important. And here's the one thing that people don't think about. You only got so many spots on the roster. There's a reason why they always make, you see those guys. I was one of those guys when I played. I was one of those guys. I would go out, I would warm up, I would get dressed, go warm up, And then they would, when you would come in, they would say, Marcus, go ahead, put your clothes on. We're going to make you inactive. They did that almost every year. They traveled me to all of the games. And I would warm up and do the same thing. Because I know that year, Heath Sherman was nursing an injury. But they would keep him live just in case they needed him. So they would always bring me just in case something happened. Maybe he tore an ankle or something bad happened in warm up or something like that. That way I was the extra running back. But as long as he could go, even though if he wasn't full tilt, they would deem me inactive. So I would be one of those dudes on the sideline with street clothes with the credentials on, looking at the clipboard and bringing people Gatorade. And it was frustrating. And it was very frustrating. I remember one of the most nervous, I think I've told this story before, one of the most nervous moments of my life was walking into Kotite's office and asking him, like, Coach, let me play special teams. Because at that point, we had so many injuries. Kenny Rose got hurt. Byron Evans was hurt. We had starters, defensive starters, playing on special teams. I think Seth was out there, like, doing punt coverage and stuff like. It was like, come on, man, we can't have the starters on special teams. They need to take a rest, and you know how it is, all of that kind of stuff. And Kotite kind of gave me the typical coach speech. And we know you're available, kid. Thanks for asking, but we're good with what they just didn't want to do it. So, and I'm saying all that to say special teams matters. And when guys get hurt that normally play special teams, sometimes you got to take a starter and put them on special teams. And you don't want to do that because that's another opportunity where somebody can get hurt. So you want to maximize what you get from your starters, but you want to minimize the chance of them getting hurt. And the only exception is if you got somebody at a skill position doing returns. If Devontae Smith, like I think it was 2-3 times last year, Devontae Smith returned punts. I'm sure he could do it, and I believe he didn't have any issues. But you know how people get blown up on punt returns. You don't want to put one of your best receivers out there. That was why Kotite was Kotite. Listen, man, quiet as kept. Kotite was a good dude. Kotite was a player's coach. He wasn't like a hard ass. He wasn't like a disciplinarian. He was like, he knew what everybody had to do. He kind of had that New York thing going. You guys are grown man. You know what to do. I expect you to do what you're supposed to do and get. I think one of the things where Kotite gets a bad rap is Kotite didn't have the best assistant coaches around him either. The defense was the defense. The defense could have did what they did on their own. That's how tight the defense was. But the offensive coaches, so I believe if he'd had better offensive coaches, assistant coaches, OCs, and all of that kind of stuff, it'd have made a difference. But it is what it is, man. I ain't got no love lost for Kotite. Kotite was a cool dude, treated me right, picked my name to make the roster. So got to have some love for him at some point. I didn't even see that. The Shaw Herndon. Yeah, Eric Metcalf was a monster, man. We are never going to see anybody like that again, man. They just don't do it enough. They really don't do it enough. We're not going to Devin Hester will probably be the last person Hall of Fame for returns for special teams. I can't see anybody being able to do that unless, this kid out of Colorado, Travis Hunter, that dude, I mean, he playing offense, defense, in the snack stand, selling popcorn, selling T-shirts, doing the cheers on the side. Like, that kid does everything. So, but special teams, yeah, we gotta get that together. So where was that? We were talking about Eagles repeat. So I think the Eagles are in good shape to repeat. So we'll see what's going to happen. Second question: is Jalen Hurts going to take the next step? I believe he is. But in my opinion, it will be determined by how often he throws the balls to the running backs. AJ, Dallas, Devontae, they're going to get theirs. And occasionally Quez Watkins and Zacchaeus, they're going to get their catches. They're going to get their catches. The difference is how much are we going to throw to our running backs with the screen game and all of that kind of stuff? Because that is going to give him more passing attempts, and that is what is going to take him over the 4,000 yards passing mark. That's to me, 4,000 yards is the bar to where you can consider yourself one of the top quarterbacks throwing the ball. If you pass for over 4,000 yards. Now, I believe he could have passed for over 4,000 yards last year, but we started off running the ball so much. He didn't really come into his own with the deep ball until kind of like fourth, fifth game and going into the mid-season. So, and then you had them games where he had like 170 yards passing because we was running the ball all over the place and he was running the ball all over the place. So if we do a better job, if Brian Johnson does a better job in protecting Jalen Hurts, meaning reducing the RPOs, we are still going to run them, but we have to reduce them. If he does a good job reducing the RPOs and dumping the ball to the running backs, screen passes, checkdowns, things of that nature, I think he will take the next step. We already know he can drop back and deliver the long ball. He's reading the field well. He's delivering the ball on time. He's got all of that stuff. I think now it's just everybody, the people that want to make this argument, they're worried about that stat. He doesn't throw for enough yards. He still runs too much. We don't care because we know he's winning games. That's all we care about. We know he's winning games. We do get concerned about the RPO thing, but I have faith that Brian Johnson will handle that. And let's say that he will run the RPOs accordingly, right? Don't pull from that well too much. There are going to be some people looking to make a shot. Take the penalty to ding them up. That happens all the time. Don't think it doesn't. Don't think that does not happen. Somebody will take that penalty, and the team will pay that fine, and you'll never know. So it could happen, but I think Jalen has an opportunity to go to the next level because he's going to have more, and I keep saying this, he's going to have more opportunities to pass the ball with the screen plays and throwing the ball to the running back out the backfield. That's something that we did not do last year. We did not run screens, especially to the running back. I believe we ran a couple of tight end screens. And we did not check down and just throw the ball to the running backs. Not much at all. And a lot of people, they kind of dismiss Kenny Gainwell because he didn't catch the ball. And it's like, Kenny Gainwell can catch the ball. We just didn't throw it to him. And that ain't his fault. So everybody's looking at DeAndre Swift. Oh, he's great catching the ball out of the backfield. So is Kenny Gainwell. We just didn't throw the ball to him. So I don't know who's going to get those touches. We have a very big opportunity for a lot of mismatches on defenses because somebody's got to cover that running back. DeAndre Swift is super fast and Kenny Gainwell is super quick. So you got to pick your poison. And it's not a good choice. We're not gonna have these people. How many teams we got? Dallas. How many other teams can you think of with a linebacker that runs a 4.3? And even with a linebacker that runs a 4.3, you can go back and look at the tape when we played Dallas. Just because you run a 4.3 at defensive end doesn't mean you can cover. Does not mean you can cover it because we burn your boy from Dallas, Micah Parsons. We burned him when we played Dallas at home. He can't cover. If that's not something that you are used to doing, if he doesn't spend at least 2-3 weeks with the DBs, learning how to move his hips and stuff like that, yes, he is fast, but it has limits. And I would say the same thing if we want to put Nolan Smith in that situation for us. So, that's a mismatch. And we got to take advantage of that. Brian is saying, I think his next step is relying on guys catching the ball and making plays the way, not relying on his legs and putting the pressure on himself. I agree. However, a lot of those RPOs were called RPOs. So, yes. Hey, Mom. I see my mom signing in. Hey, Mommy. A lot of those called RPOs are like, Jalen, go with what you see. So you're looking at what the defense gives you, and then Jalen's making a decision, and he makes the decision to pull it and go around the corner. And I've said this before, defenses will let him run the ball. Attack the running back, make him pull it and run it. That way we can put hands on. He's a runner. So now there's a better opportunity for us as a defense to get a shot on him. And as the franchise quarterback, you do not want your quarterback taking shots. I said that all in the offseason. So that's a very kind of a situation that we have to watch. And again, I think Brian Johnson is going to do the right thing because, again, you got Brian Johnson and Jalen Hurts are like family. So that dynamic means a lot. Not just that they know each other, that I don't think that Brian Johnson is going to do anything to put Jalen in harm's way. And I'm trusting that Brian Johnson is going to use common sense. Common sense says, and again, me on my beat my drum, common sense says if you got the best offensive line in football and it's cold outside, you let them boys run over that defensive line. You run your offense over that defensive line until the defense proves they can stop you. Me as an old school running back, Lane Johnson, that side of the ball cannot be stopped. Hand the ball off to the right side of our offensive line. Let them prove that they can stop us. If they can't stop us, I don't care if you run the ball 30 times with your running backs. That's what should have happened in Chicago. And every opportunity we get, because now it's kind of in reverse if you think about it. Everybody's worrying about what Jalen Hurts is going to do. So now, if they waiting for him to pull it and run it, that makes easier lanes and easier blocks for the offensive lineman if you hand the ball off. Because they got to respect him. You got to make a mistake because you have to make that decision. And that is what puts the defenses in a bind because they have to make that decision who they're going to cover. And because Jalen Hurts did his thing so well last year, everybody's going to be looking at him to pull it. That should give the avenues to the running backs even more. So, and saying all that to say, I trust Brian Johnson is going to have that logic in his head and roll with it because we still have arguably the best offensive line in the NFL right now. Find me an offensive line that's better. So we're still in good shape. But let me take a break real quick, tell you about Gleason's Bar. Gleason's Bar is located at 6700 Mill Creek Avenue in Levittown, PA. Use promo code A2D for 10% off your order whenever you dine in, take out, or online. Gleason's Bar and Steaks.com. You know, y'all can send me a steak if you want to. I ain't mad at that. So, but let's get back. Let's see. What was my number 4? Let me take a sip real quick. How will Sean Desai's defense perform? Good question. I think he has the biggest, in my opinion, he's got the biggest cushion because I think the players there are ready, but he's also got the most question marks. because the linebacker thing. And again, I'm expecting the Kobe Dean to just ball out. I'm expecting him to ball out. So I don't know what his strategy is going to be. Is he going to be blitz heavy? What is he going to do? So, but he's got the most to prove because our run defense was a liability last year. Teams rushed for an average of 4.6 yards a carry against our defense last year. So that was a problem that we got to fix. So our run defense was suspect. And towards the end of the year, it was like, are we really like nitpicking? And we kind of were until it got to the Super Bowl. Because then it was that's the game where you got to put all your chips on the table. You can't play conservative in the Super Bowl. You gotta go for it. And it seems like we didn't do that. But we got unproven linebackers. And I need this side to be a master of that chessboard, man. That's where it's going to come into play. Because that's where we got outcoached in the Super Bowl. Andy Reid's chess game was better than Sirianni's. Or Gannon's, however you want to look at it. So, I agree. I want to see what these young players can do. That's my next question. Can the young starters from Georgia play up to expectations? Kobe Dean, Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, Keely Ringo, and DeAndre Swift. They all play together. So the expectations for them coming into this season is super high, especially Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith, because they're the ones that flashed. Kobe Dean, I've always thought that he was going to be good. I'm still mad that he didn't play more last year, but it is what it is. So I'm expecting Dean to just be as advertised. I need Jalen Carter to be as advertised. I don't know how they're going to play Nolan Smith. I don't know what they're going to do with that. I think they should put him opposite Hassan Reddick and do what they got to do. Because you know what? When Hassan Reddick was in Carolina, Hassan Reddick came off the right side a couple times. So he can do that. So Hassan Reddick and Nolan Smith, that kind of speed. And listen, y'all saw what Hassan Reddick did last year. Hassan Reddick is a 4.5 guy. 4.5. Nolan Smith is at 4.3. So just think about how fast Hassan Reddick is, and now make somebody even faster. That's what you got with Nolan Smith. You got the long arms, the reach, and the drive. And man, Frank, what's going on, my brother? Hey, Chiquita, how you doing? We got a lot of people that can really get it done on our defense. And let's not forget, if somebody needs a break, you still got Mitt Williams. You still got BG. You still got Fletch. Big man in the middle, Jordan Davis, and Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter, I think, is going to be as advertised. But just like anything else, I need to see. Just so I can be sure. I need to see. Because you got a lot of guys that look good in the preseason. That has happened back since I was playing. You got guys that put it down in preseason, and then when they come up against some real competition and Pro Bowler types, not the same. Not the same. So, do you think he plays one of the safeties as a third man in the box to help out? Linebacker Brown plays down here. I think they will do that. I think they might do that with Edmonds. So they talked about that before, and I believe Edmonds did that in Pittsburgh in certain packages. So he's got experience doing that. Can he bring enough to make it happen? I don't know. Again, that goes back to the chessboard. Because if you bring somebody up like that, there's ways to exploit that. So again, when you got the right pieces on the board, You still got to make the right moves. But I can see them doing Edmonds like that. I know it was a big deal when they moved Nolan Smith to the 4-eye technique a couple times during camp. And I am positive that there are some things that they have done in meetings and in practice that nobody has seen. Because that's how that goes, and that's what they're supposed to do. That's why you always look at the situation where, for me, I don't really gauge. You guys have heard me say this before. I don't really gauge what kind of team we have until week 3 or 4. That way, you know what you got. You know what the rooks can do. Every team has film on you, so it's easier to game plan you. And you can see how your team performs when somebody's made a game plan against you. Everybody's talking about they had a whole offseason to prepare for Jalen Hurts. Well, they had a whole season to prepare for Jalen Hurts last year, and they still couldn't stop him. Once you get to week 8 or get to your bye week, you got plenty of film on a person or a play or a package. You got plenty of film. And if you can't stop it, you can't stop it. That means your offense is running it so well that no matter what the defense sets in front of you, they can't stop it. That's the situation you want to be in. That is a mental superiority complex that teams get. Sometimes they have them, sometimes you don't. How many times in the past, 3rd and long, and we're hoping, based on whoever our quarterback was at any given time, you were hoping, like, come on, we got to pull this off. It's 3rd and 7. We really need this. We got to keep this drive going. Defense needs a rest. We got to get this first. How many times has that happened in the past? Now, with Jalen Hurts, you don't have that angst and that reservation for going for 3rd and long. We don't have that. We're looking for him to make a play. Now, if it's 3rd and 15, that's different. But even some of those, he made big plays. So you don't have that angst or that reservation on the player that you have on the field. Now we've got that, and teams know that. They got to be on their best behavior because this dude can beat you deep every play. That's the situation that we are in. And there's not many other teams that have that type of play or playmaker on their squad. Aaron Rodgers doesn't have it like that because I don't think he has the experience with his receiving core yet. He might get to that point, but I don't think he's quite there yet. That might take him, 4 or 5 games to really feel like and feel out what he has. So we'll see what they have. But ultimately, I need these Georgia boys to be as advertised. Let me say it like that. All of them. I need Sidney Brown to be as advertised. You guys have already heard me say Sidney Brown will be, my prediction, Sidney Brown will be starting by game 6. I'm going to say it like that. By game 6, Sidney Brown should be the starter at safety. So it'll be Sidney Brown and Reed Blankenship. I've never had a problem with Reed Blankenship. That dude is golden in my eyes. Am I biased because he was an undrafted free agent? Hell yeah. Because those are the guys you don't expect. Then you got Eli Ricks, another guy you don't expect. Guys like that always have a chip on their shoulder. Always. Because nobody thinks about them. And all they do is quietly step on the field, know what they're supposed to do, and do it. So we got the right people in the right places. We just got to make the right moves on the chessboard. So I'm going to trust Sean Desai because he's got experience in other places in Chicago, and he's got experience to do what he's got to do. I don't want him to make the same mistakes that Gannon made last year. Gannon just needs to shut up sometimes. Just, dude, we finally get to the point where we over you and all the nonsense you pulled last year. So just be done and deal with your tanking this year to get Caleb Williams. So who is the Cardinals starting quarterback right now? I don't even know. So that's kind of crazy. But yeah, man, it's our defense is in good shape. But like I said, the big question mark is the linebackers. So, and lastly, knock wood, can the Eagles stay healthy? For the most part, the Eagles did stay healthy, with the exception of Jalen Hurts thinking that he broke his shoulder in Chicago. Now, we lost Sean Bradley. We lost Zach McPherson. Both of them tear their Achilles. We lost somebody else to the concussion. Hassan Reddick had to get surgery on his thumb. Nolan Smith had the shoulder injury. So Hassan Reddick, Nolan Smith, I think they will be okay. But shoot, as you saw with Travis Kelce, as you saw with Joe Burrow, doing regular stuff, and the extended warranty on a particular body part has expired. That's pretty much how it happens. So if we can stay healthy, we'll be good. I want to see Hassan Reddick. I don't think it'll be a problem, but again, I need to see it. I need to see him do a swim technique and not worry about his thumb. I'm going to guess that he's probably going to wear some type of padded glove, or like a mini padded cast. So he'll probably do something like that. And he'll do what he got to do. What I don't want to see is it prevent him. What I don't want to see is him get into a situation where he has a sack and he can't close it because of his thumb. So if we see that, then we know we have a problem. Then we know it's a little bit more serious than we think. Same thing with Nolan Smith with the shoulder injury. I saw him today. I don't know when this interview was. Somebody was talking to him. Somebody from the press was talking to him. And he had an exercise band doing something with his shoulder. So I know he's been working that out. I think he'll be good. But again, I need to see it. And when he got that injury, that was just a weird kind of fluke thing. He kind of got hit. His body was in a crazy position. And it's one of those things you just kind of, the collision happened at the wrong place at the wrong time. So I think he'll be okay. But I want to see it. So that's all there is. The healthiest teams usually make it deep into the playoffs. And that's where I want to be. That's where I want to be. I'm not buying all this hangover stuff. I just don't think we have that team as far as a hangover, because we got the guy, our QB1 is the guy that only looks at the next play, not the next game, not for the bye week, the next play. So I'm not buying into the hangover stuff. That's why I'm so hyped that the Eagles can repeat as NFC champs. And whether we do or don't, we're still going to go into the playoffs. So I think we're in a good spot, and we can make some things happen. And I'm looking forward to Jalen Hurts doing Jalen Hurts things. So I think the Eagles and the Chiefs are still tops in the NFC, AFC. I think you got to watch out for the Jets in the AFC. And I think Jacksonville might take a step this year. And Miami, it all depends on what happens with Tua. If Tua can keep himself healthy, Miami might be able to do some things. So there's going to be – AFC is going to be good this year. AFC is going to be good this year. So it might be a tight race in the end for the AFC. When I'm looking at Miami, I think Jets are going to be in the mix. Jets fans are finally going to have something to be happy about. Jets got a good – Robert Saleh is a good coach. They got Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers might stay there 2-3 more years, max. And then he'll be off in the sunset until he gets voted in the Hall of Fame. But the thing that Aaron Rodgers has just done, he has basically co-signed on Zach Wilson. So now you got Zach Wilson and all the problems that he was having. I don't know if he was just that bad or not. It could have been some other things going on. I don't know. However, now he's sitting down with Aaron friggin' Rodgers, learning from the best of the best. That's the best situation you can have. So now you got somebody, young kid. He made the young kid mistakes. takes his lumps, and now he's sitting back in film session learning from one of the masters. That's the best situation you can have for the Jets. And in the meantime, you got a true veteran, one of the best to ever do it, in your stadium teaching somebody to take the baton. So he's got 2 years to sit under Aaron Rodgers. So I would expect Zach Wilson to come out ready to go when Aaron Rodgers decides to step away. So even now, knock wood, if Aaron Rodgers get hurt, Zach Wilson is a solid number 2. So that's a good situation to be in. Back to the NFC. The NFC East. Do y'all realize that last year all of the teams in the NFC East almost made the playoffs? Washington almost made the playoffs. Washington is going to be better than they were last year, and they beat us last year. I know it was because of fumble, and they beat us last year. Screw the excuses. They beat us. And they're better this year than they are last year. Chase Young is on the field. You got a different play caller than Eric Bieniemy, calling the shots. And for all intent and purposes, looks like he might be the guy to take over when Rivera steps out of there. So they're going to be better. The Giants, they're going to be better, but I'm just not scared of Jones, Daniel Jones. He doesn't scare me at all. And then Dallas just always gives us a problem. Dallas is going to be a better team. Dak's got all the pressure on. A lot of pressure. So I don't know what's going to happen. All of the Trey Lance stuff. Trey Lance going to come down there and play, and he just learned the offense. I don't see that happen unless it's an emergency. Excuse me. I don't see that happening unless it's an emergency. And not for nothing, everybody just forget what Cooper Rush did last year. Cooper Rush was solid. So if anybody's going to take over if something happened to Dak, it's Cooper Rush. It ain't going Trey Lance. But we're the best in the division. But Dallas, we always struggle with Dallas. I just want to have a year where we just dominate Dallas. We just dominate. I want our defense to just dominate. We've already proven that we can handle Micah Parsons. His name is Lane Johnson. So we've already proven that. They want to bring Vander Esch up. Vander Esch got to cover DeAndre Swift or Kenny Gainwell. Mismatch, we win that battle. If Micah Parsons wants to drop back and cover DeAndre Swift, we win that battle. For the same reason I said earlier. Micah Parsons is fast, but he is not a defensive back. DeAndre wins that 9 out of 10 times. Kenny Gainwell wins that 9 out of 10 times. Now, if DeAndre and Kenny Gainwell got a pass block and he's rushing, then we might have a problem. But when it comes to coverage and what we can do with our packages, with our shifts, our alignments, to put us in an advantageous position against whatever a defense is thrown out at us, we have 2 more weapons on the field, and we got to take advantage of that. Brian Johnson, is on you to make those chess moves, bro. You got to do it. You got to do it. And we are in a prime position to be able to start this trek one step at a time, and none of that hangover stuff. Everybody got better. We had the best draft, maybe with the exception of Houston. And I would argue that. But at least to be in the company or to be in the conversation that we had the best draft, or was it, at least we're in that conversation. So all of that talk about teams got better, the schedule got harder. What does a harder schedule mean? We were the best team in our division. So that's not a harder schedule, just means everybody coming to play the best. And we got better. That's the thing where all of this, the schedule is harder, so we're not going to win as many games. It's like, did y'all see the draft? Did y'all see the people we got? Have y'all heard the news on Jalen Carter? It's like everybody, it's almost like if you move away from your home and then you go back home after being away for 5-6 years, everybody is in that freeze frame because the last thing you remember is what you saw or what you were doing the last time you were home. You get that mental freeze frame. Oh my God, you've gotten so big. Oh, you look so different. That it's the same thing. Everybody has the Eagles in a bubble. The schedule get harder. We had a year to watch you, and it don't matter. Everybody's in the same boat. The Eagles had a year to watch all of these harder teams that we got to play. Our defense got better. So I don't buy all of that. And it don't really matter. Rob Povey, I'm just seeing you, bro. Keep your seat warm in the limo. I got you, fam. I'm about to find me a limo graphic. That's what I got to get for my first 5 out the limo. Got to give me a graphic done or something like that. I'm working on some new graphics, by the way. I'm working on some cool stuff with the logo and some of the stuff that y'all saw with the Google Earth and the stadiums. So should be some cool stuff. So I'm looking forward to it. Y'all don't know I'm a graphics guy, so I love doing all that kind of stuff, the backgrounds and all that kind of stuff. I make that myself, and I love doing it. But Vince, schedule is tough. 2 games in 5 days to start the season. Chiefs and Bills back to back on a short week. NFL did them no favors. Yep, you are absolutely correct. But we will be ready to play nonetheless. So is what it is. They're singing the anthem in the Chiefs game, so they're getting ready to rock and roll. I believe the game starts at 8:20, if I'm not mistaken. Or is it 8? But in any case, we'll be out of here to watch it. So, but yeah, man, we ready to rock and roll. I'm ready to get it on and popping. I'm ready to get it started. I'm tired of all this talk. Jalen Hurts is going to earn his money. And I'm saying that, not saying that he has to earn his money. I'm saying definitively Jalen Hurts will earn his money. Jalen Hurts will have people saying he's worth more than that. You heard all the talk. You saw what Nick Bosa got. And now people are going to ask the question about Hassan Reddick being underpaid. He knows he's underpaid. I hope he don't let him go. He's a home kid, right, from over there in Camden. He's home. He doesn't. How we need to make sure Hassan Reddick retires as an Eagle. That's what he needs to do. Because we got, in my opinion, 2 to 3 more good years out of Hassan Reddick, barring any major injuries. So we need to protect that investment. You got a hometown kid doing his thing. He's the best at what he does at his position. Period. Find a way to keep him on his team. Maybe we keep him, and it should be a little bit easier when Fletch finally decides to walk away and some people, phase themselves out. But you don't want to be in a situation like the 49ers are with Nick Bosa. They paid him a boatload of money. $170 million with $122 guaranteed. They're going to be in the same situation that the Rams were in without a ring. At least the Rams got the ring out of it. 49ers might not have that opportunity because what they going to do when Ayuk come calling and all these other guys come calling because it's time for them to get the bag. They're going to be cash strapped. You're going to have to send them a cash app for something. Hit that GoFundMe page. Do something. Because they paid him a lot of money. Woof. And I'm kind of thinking that's why Chris Jones didn't sign. Now he Bosa done set the bar. So now you know what Chris Jones, because Chris Jones legitimately can say, I'm just as good. I had just as many sacks. I was just as effective. And I balled out in the Super Bowl. What you gonna do? And you got somebody that apparently he protected his money quite well because he's ready to sit out 6-7 games. So we'll see what's going to happen. But I'm going to let y'all get up out of here because I know everybody wants to watch the game like me. Welcome back to football, you guys. Happy 2023 NFL season is back. The Eagles are back. I will be somewhere Probably here, get some chicken wings, watch the game, and just go have a good time and then just enjoy it. Philly Sports Hustle, what's up, my guy? Glad you can make it. We at the tail end of it, but glad you make it. I appreciate everybody that tunes in with me. Trying to expand, trying to do some things on my own channel, Pro Fan Talk, and I'm trying to have everybody feed everybody. So there's enough room for everybody to eat. You know what I'm saying? So go ahead and watch the game, and I will have something for you guys next week. But in the meantime, go Birds. I'm out.